Hello, welcome to PLSQL02pro.com. This is Hassan Mir. In this tutorial, I'll give you an express tour of PLSQL. Okay, just remember that the objective of this tutorial is not to teach you PLSQL programming. Okay, the objective is to give you a feel of PLSQL program, what a program looks like. Okay, so we're not gonna be understanding each and every statement that I'll be presenting. Okay, so just focus on the broad sections that we studied in the last tutorial. That a PLSQL statement consists of three sections: declaration section, actual logic, program logic, and the exception section. Okay, just focus on that part, and in a step-by-step manner we will understand what the programming is all about. Okay, so let's start the tour. So for that I have to log into Oracle Express. Okay, so this is screen to log in. In the next tutorial I'll show you how to install Oracle Express so that you can practice PLSQL yourself as well. Okay, so let's begin. I have an account by name Hassan Mir, and let's forget my password. Alright, so I'm in. So I'm gonna go to this SQL icon here. Okay, from here I'm gonna choose SQL commands. Okay, so this is the screen. In the top screen you will enter SQL commands or PLSQL commands, okay, the Oracle commands, and in the bottom section you're gonna see the result of what you have run, what you have entered at the top. Alright, so let's write a quick PLSQL program. Okay, for that let me just create a table. So here's what I'm gonna do. Instead of typing everything, I'm gonna copy paste. So now you must already know what SQL is at this point. If not, then I think you should go to SQL02pro.com and learn SQL first before you come to PLSQL. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm creating a simple table. I'm calling it student. Okay, it has three columns: ID, first name and last name. ID column is of number type. That means it can only take numeric values. The first name and last name columns are alphanumeric. Okay, so that's why I'm declaring them as varchar2 type. Maximum value that can go in these columns is 30 character long. Alright, so let me run this statement. So table has been created. As you can see at the bottom, table created message. So let me describe this table. DESC is the command to look at the structure of the table. Okay, this is just a refresher. You must have already taken the tutorial, SQL tutorial, so you would know all these commands. Alright, so okay, so this is the structure of the table, as you can see. Now let me insert some record here, because in order to create a PLSQL program I need a table and that has some rows in it. Okay, so let me just insert one row for, like, ID is 1 and name is Hassan Mir. Alright, and let me insert two more rows. So second student is Larry Ellison. Okay, as you can see, one row successfully inserted because of this message. Third student is Bill Gates. So we three are taking the course together: Hassan, Larry, and Bill. Alright, so let's do a select all on the student, and you can see we have the three records in the table student. Okay, now what? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a PLSQL program that will simply read one of the record and display the values nicely on the screen. Alright, so here's a program. Now just focus on the three sections. Alright, so we have like three variables here. The purpose of the variable is simply to store a value. So they are like placeholders in the memories. You can put some values in the variable. The program can then read the values, and program can put some other values in the variable. So it's something that program logic can play with. Alright, so we have three variables. Okay, now different conventions everybody use. So what I use convention is I just put v underscore as a prefix before every variable name. That way variable name don't conflict with the column names. Alright, so it's a good practice. You put v underscore as a prefix before variable names, and you also prefix like parameters as p underscore. So we'll be talking about parameters later on. Okay, so it's a good practice. So that's why there's a v underscore before each variable name. So we have an ID variable, and we are storing a value 1 in this ID variable. So that means we want to see the record nicely displayed for student 1. Alright, and so what we're going to do, what this program is going to do is, program is going to read the first name and last name for student whatever ID this variable has. So it has a ID 1, so we're going to read first name and last name for ID 1, and we're going to put first name and last name in these two variables. Alright, so now there will be a separate tutorial on that. Alright, so the select statement has a different syntax when it comes to PLSQL language. So what we are doing is we are selecting two columns. Okay, so first name and last name, and there is an into clause. When a select statement is used in PLSQL program, there is an into clause. What into clause does is it's going to put the result into these two variables. Okay, so we are selecting two columns. That means these two values will be returned. So those two values will be placed in these two variables. Alright, from table student, where ID is equal to VID. Now VID has a value 1 here, so it will be substituted, right? So Oracle will execute this statement as where ID is equal to 1. If you're going to put 2 here, then it's going to be run as where ID is equal to 2. Once this SQL statement has been executed, the result, first name and last name of student ID 1 would be placed in these two variables, v first name and v last name. Alright, and this procedure, DBMS output put line, is a procedure to display something on the screen. So what we are doing is we are nicely displaying a sentence here. First name is v first name and last name is v last name. Alright, so the value in the v last name would be substituted here, and the value in the v first name would be substituted here, and the value in v last name would be substituted here. So this whole thing is going to become one sentence, and this is a concatenation operator here. So what it does is basically combines two text strings together. Okay, again, the objective is not to teach you how to concatenate string, it's just to give you an idea of what a PLSQL program looks like. So I'll be explaining you concatenation in detail in coming tutorials. Alright, so after value in first name and last name is substituted in this whole sentence, it's going to become a nice sentence. First name is Hassan and last name is Mir. Alright, so if, let's say, right now we know there is a record for student 1 in the table, but let's say there is no record for student 1 in the table, then there's a problem, because this syntax of SQL expect one result. Okay, if it's going to bring more than one result, there's going to be a problem. Okay, if there's going to be 0 rows returned, then it's going to be a problem again, because this syntax of SQL in a PLSQL program always expect one result. Alright, so if let's say I put 4 here, then this SQL is gonna basically return 0 rows, so this is gonna throw off the program. So if there is no exception section, then you're gonna see an ugly error on the screen. Alright, but now this exception section is gonna handle the error very gracefully, and you're gonna see a message, there is no record for a student whatever the ID is. Alright, so let's execute this program. Before I click on run, what should you expect from this program? Because the ID we have placed in the VID variable is 1. Alright, so we should expect this line, first name is Hassan, last name is Mir. Okay, because this SQL statement is going to put Hassan in v first name variable and Mir in v last name variable, and so finally this whole sentence is going to be displayed on the screen with, of course, a value substituted for these variables here. Alright, so let's run this program. Okay, see the result, first name is Hassan, last name is Mir. Okay, so what if I put 2 here? Now I think Larry Ellison's record should be displayed. First name is Larry, last name is it's Ellison. Alright, and now we're gonna see Bill Gates' record here. Alright, first name is Bill, last name is Gates. Now what if I put 4 here? I should see the message, there is no record for student 4. there is no record for student 4. Okay, so this is a sample PLSQL program. Okay, so in coming tutorials you will learn in a step-by-step manner how to write PLSQL program, and we're gonna be learning each component in detail, and hopefully after completing all the lessons you will become a pro in PLSQL. Okay, before we go, remember in the previous tutorial we talked about a syntax error, like whenever you run a program, compiler tries to see if there is syntax error or not. Okay, if there is syntax error, then the error is displayed, otherwise P code is created. Once the P code is created, then only the program is run. So what's happening here is, this is an anonymous block. Remember, we have studied like there are two kinds of PLSQL program, anonymous block and name block. This is an anonymous block. So we are passing an anonymous block to Oracle using a query tool, and Oracle is returning the results back to the query tool, and you see the result at the bottom section, whatever Oracle has returned. Okay, so coming back to the compilation process, so once I click on run button here, the program is compiled. Okay, and Oracle looked for syntax error. There is no syntax error in this program. What if I change this from to FRO? Let's say I forgot to type M here. Okay, by mistake I just enter FRO instead of FROM. What if I try to run this program? Now this should be a syntax error. Oracle will not even create a P code for this, and Oracle will not run this program at all. I should receive a syntax error. Okay, see, there's a error, from keyword not found where expected. Oracle was expecting a from keyword here, instead Oracle found fro. Okay, now what if, remember initially when I copy pasted this program from the notepad, by mistake first name ID, I wanted to write first name is rename, instead I wrote ID here by mistake. Now what if I change it back to ID? Is this gonna be a syntax error? No, because this is just a text string. Oracle is simply gonna combine this text string with this string, with this string, and with this string, and Oracle doesn't care if I'm writing first name is or first name ID, right? It doesn't really matter. Oh, if I have to unblock this is a problem, right? I always select this text and then run. Oracle only tries to run this selected text. Okay, so now in order to actually see the effect of whatever change I made, I need to change this 4 to 1. Okay, so see, first name is ID Hassan, last name is me. So it's a grammar error. Oracle doesn't care. So this is not a syntax error. Okay, so one more example of a syntax error would be, let's say into v first name, I change it to v first name. I just remove e here. Oracle, now this variable is not declared already, so this should be a problem for Oracle. Oracle should complain this variable is not declared. Okay, so let me run this program. See, Oracle is complaining this variable must be declared first, v first name. Okay, so we have seen two examples of syntax errors. Now finally, let's create a runtime error. Remember, runtime error is something which is more related to the data, not with the syntax of the problem. Okay, so once you're compiling the program, it's compiling successfully because there is no syntax error. But how can I create a runtime error? So this SQL here is expecting at least one result. So if I change this to 4, it's actually raising a runtime error because there is no data found for ID number 4. But this runtime error is gracefully caught by this exception here. Finally, this exception section is executed because this error is raised. If there is no runtime error raised of this type, no data found, then this exception section is never going to be executed. Okay, so now in order to see the effect, if I remove this exception section, then this runtime error is not gracefully gracefully caught, right? So you would still see the message, but this message is not very user friendly, no data found. Okay, so what that exception section was doing, it was gracefully catching this no data found error and putting user-friendly message on the screen. Alright, so you have seen example of both syntax error and runtime error. Okay, so the purpose of this tutorial again was to just give you a feel of PLSQL programming. Okay, not to explain you what variables are and what all these concatenation operators are, etc., etc. Okay, so I'll see you in the next tutorial. Alright, so where we will take our learning to a next level.